Hello and welcome. I'm Sissy and I'm Timothy's widow. So for today, hypothetically, let's say that you and I have just met. New coworkers, new neighbors, new something. But anyhow, we decide to go down to the coffee shop and get to know each other over a cup of our favorite coffee. Of course, the topic of the loss of my husband comes up, and you ask me how I am doing with my grief journey. My reply is that I think I'm in transition in regards to identity grief. You look at me and you ask, Sissy, what the heck did you just say? So, let's go ahead and start breaking this down just a little bit. What is identity grief? Identity grief, also known as grief of the self or grief of the identity, is a specific type of grief that occurs when a person experiences a significant and profound loss related to their sense of self, roles, or identity, as in the loss of a spouse. Identity grief goes beyond the grief experienced from the loss of a loved one and begins to delve into the deep emotional impact of losing a fundamental aspect of who a person was or how a person perceives themselves in the world after the loss of their spouse. Identity grief can be a complex and ongoing process involving a range of emotions such as sadness, confusion, anger, and a search for meaning and purpose in the face of change. It may require individuals to adapt, redefine their sense of self, and establish a new identity in the aftermath of the loss. After the loss of a spouse, the grieving individual may experience several aspects of identity grief. Losing a life partner can deeply impact one's sense of self and the roles that they held within the relationship. Here are some common experiences related to grief of identity that a surviving spouse might go through. Number 1. Loss of partner identity. The surviving spouse may struggle with the loss of their identity as a partner. They may have defined themselves for years in relation to their spouse, and now that identity is disrupted, leaving many grieving spouses feeling lost or unsure of who they are now without their partner. Prior to the loss, we would have used similar statements in conversations such as, I am so-and-so's wife. I am the wife of so-and-so. Meet my wife or my husband, so-and-so. So-and-so is my husband. Now, many grieving spouses are unsure what to say to replace these examples. Many still feel uncomfortable or sad saying that they are the widow or widower of so-and-so. And, in the present moment, don't know what to use in replace of phrases that they had said or used for a very long time. Number 2, sense of incompleteness. Losing a spouse can leave a void in the surviving spouse's life. They may feel like a part of themselves is missing, and this incompleteness can be a significant source of grief. There are so many ways to describe the sense of incompleteness. Here are just a few examples. You're driving somewhere that you always went together. Now they are not in the car with you. It feels like they should be, though. The house is very quiet at night. It still feels like they should be there too. Number 3, re-evaluation of roles and responsibilities. With the loss of their spouse, the surviving partner may need to re-evaluate their roles and responsibilities. For instance, they may have to take on new household duties or parenting responsibilities that they didn't handle before. These new responsibilities can alter their sense of self and identity. Just a few examples would be, you now have to handle the finances. You now have to keep the cars maintained. You have now become the only parent. Number 4, Loneliness and isolation. The surviving spouse may experience feelings of loneliness and isolation, especially if they had a close and dependent relationship with their partner. Social circles might change, and grieving spouses may now feel disconnected from mutual friends or couples that they used to spend time with. Number 5. Changes in future plans. The loss of a spouse can greatly disrupt future plans and dreams that the couple had together. Many surviving spouses grieve the loss of their shared goals, aspirations, and the life that they had envisioned with their partner. Number 6. Shift in social identity. Being part of a married couple often comes with a particular social identity. After the loss of a spouse, the surviving individual may have to navigate how they fit into social gatherings and events as a single person, which can be greatly emotionally challenging. Number 7. Struggle with independence. Some grieving spouses may have been reliant on their spouse for emotional, financial, or practical support. After the loss, they might face difficulties in adapting to newfound independence. Number 8. Questioning life's meaning and purpose. The loss of a spouse can lead the surviving partner to question the meaning and purpose of life. They may begin to reflect on their own mortality and what legacy they would want to leave behind. Number 9. Impact on self-esteem. The grieving spouse might experience fluctuations in their self-esteem and self-worth as they grapple with the new changes in their life and their sense of self. It's important to remember everyone's grief is unique, and the experiences of identity grief will vary from person to person. As a grief supporter, providing emotional support, understanding, and allowing the grieving spouse to express their feelings can be crucial in helping them navigate through this challenging period of loss and identity transformation. Professional counseling or support groups can also be valuable resources for those coping with identity grief after the loss of a spouse. Keeping all of these possible experiences in mind, now you may be better able to understand why I would say that I'm in a stage of transitioning when it comes to struggling with identity grief. I want to thank you so much for joining me today as we begin a journey of looking more in depth at identity grief. If you found this content helpful, please like the video and consider subscribing to the channel so that you'll know when new content is available. As we begin to move through the month of August and transitioning from summer into autumn, we'll be continuing the study of identity grief and transitioning into your new self after the loss of a spouse. And I invite you to join me in this journey. As always, please feel free to comment on any of my videos. I'd love to hear from you. If there's any content or topic that you'd like me to research and post about, please let me know that too. I'll do my best. I've been Sissy, and I'm wishing you hope, light, and love. Until the next time, my friend.